These are the latest developments in the story involving Bobby Brown and why people close to him are now saying he is done staying quiet about what he knows regarding Whitney Houston's death, particularly now that Clive Davis is gone. June 22nd, 2026 is the date that changed everything. Davis passed away peacefully at his Manhattan home at the age of 94, and his family confirmed the death came after a recent hospitalization for an upper respiratory infection. You might expect the music world to stop and grieve the loss of one of its most powerful figures, but the reaction from a large portion of the public and from people inside the industry has landed somewhere completely different from grief. Across the entertainment world, the mood surrounding Davis's death reads less like mourning and more like a collective exhale. For decades, Davis carried the reputation of the ultimate industry gatekeeper, a man who held absolute power over careers, controlled access, and allegedly controlled what people could and could not say out loud. And the word circulating right now is that a massive gag order has practically been lifted from Hollywood the moment he stopped breathing. NDAs are expected to expire, and older artists who stayed silent for years are reportedly being anticipated to surface with stories of creative and financial sabotage that never made it out while Davis was alive. Allegations about how he treated Luther Vandross have floated around the industry for a long time. And the same goes for the late Phyllis Hyman, whose career and mental well-being were allegedly sidelined intentionally to clear the path for Whitney Houston's rise. With Davis gone, those stories finally have somewhere to go. Nobody disputes that Davis built Whitney's career. Pretty much every major hit she released carried his fingerprints, and the commercial empire he constructed around her talent made him extraordinarily wealthy. But what people are talking about right now is what allegedly rides alongside that kind of power. Because the pattern that keeps surfacing in these stories follows the same shape every time. Artists get signed, labels and managers get rich, and then the artist reaches a point where they want ownership over their work and their earnings, which transforms them from an asset into a problem. More creative control for Whitney would have meant less financial control for everyone positioned above her. And insiders say that tension sits right at the center of what Bobby Brown claims he knows. Hints have been surfacing from Bobby Brown for years, scattered across interviews, buried inside memoir passages, and breaking through in emotional moments that always seem to stop just short of the full truth. Something about Whitney, about the circumstances of her death, about who deserves the accountability that never came. And anyone who has watched those moments closely has noticed the same thing every time. Bobby looks like a man who is afraid. The name that kept circulating as the source of that fear was Clive Davis. Now, Bobby Brown does not arrive at this moment with a clean record, and that needs to be said directly. He admitted to striking Whitney during a period when he was trying to maintain sobriety. And by his own account, the two of them fell into a pattern of substance use together that consumed their household, locking themselves in one wing of their mansion while nannies cared for Bobbi Kristina just rooms away. That detail did not come from a tabloid. Bobby said it himself. The blame for introducing Whitney to harder substances has followed him for decades, and he has pushed back against it consistently. His version starts with New Edition, where he says the crew smoked and drank beers, and he maintains that heavier drug use came later for him, and that Whitney already knew what she knew before their relationship began. His exact words on the subject? There was no introducing her to anything. She already knew what she knew. But the perception never shifted, partly because Bobby himself kept revealing details that worked against him. On their wedding day, by his own account, he watched Whitney use cocaine before the ceremony, and she allegedly offered him some. That dynamic became the texture of their life together. And when Hawaiian authorities found Whitney in possession of a controlled substance in 2001, it became impossible to contain. From that point forward, the headlines about the couple's habits ran nonstop, which made the arrival of being Bobbi Brown feel almost inevitable. Bravo premiered Being Bobbi Brown in 2005, filming the couple during the prior year with a focus on Bobbi's career and personal life. Though Whitney's presence dominated the series from the start, Bobbi reportedly hoped the show would reframe how the public understood him, which turned out to be one of the more costly miscalculations of his public life. What the cameras captured instead was a troubled and often chaotic dynamic, and one moment in particular burned itself into the memory of anyone who watched. Bobbi proudly recounting removing feces from Whitney Houston's body, delivered with a cheerfulness that stunned viewers and turned him into a punchline that followed him for years afterward. That moment locked in a narrative for a generation of viewers. The narrative being that Bobbi Brown was the problem in that relationship and the reason Whitney's life went sideways. That reaction is understandable, and nobody should dismiss it. But here's the thing that cannot be set aside. Whatever Bobbi Brown did or did not do, he also spent more time inside Whitney Houston's world than almost any other person alive. Her secrets, her fears, her private conversations about the industry and about Davis specifically, Bobbi Brown sat inside all of that. And according to people close to him, the reason he never brought any of it into the open is that the man she allegedly warned him about was still drawing breath. Reports from the period before Whitney's death paint a picture that runs completely counter to the public narrative about her decline. Rather than spiraling, Whitney had reportedly been getting clean, taking steps to reclaim her artistry and pull her finances back under her own authority. And that push for independence, according to those same reports, did not sit well with the people profiting from her. Sobriety and self-ownership meant less leverage for her team, and the only thing they allegedly prioritized was not her recovery, but the revenue stream she represented. Bobbi Brown has suggested across multiple interviews that Whitney disclosed things to him about Davis and about what was happening behind the scenes during that period, but he has never stated those things fully in public, reportedly because the fear of Davis was real and immediate. And then there is the night Whitney died, which has never been adequately explained by anyone. Her body stayed in that hotel room for hours after emergency responders pronounced her dead. And downstairs, a pre-Grammy party hosted by Davis continued exactly as scheduled. While investigators moved through the hotel lobby, guests in designer gowns and tuxedos walked past them toward the red carpet. And the celebration carried on. That image has never left people because it never made sense. Reports also confirmed that Whitney and Davis had a serious fight just 2 days before her death, around Grammy time, and that Bobbi Kristina was reportedly present for at least part of that argument, which means she heard things that were never meant for her ears. January 31st, 2015, is the date when Bobbi Kristina's story took the turn that shocked everyone who had been following her mother's case. Discovered unconscious in the bathtub of the Georgia home she shared with Nick Gordon, Bobbi Kristina was rushed to the hospital in a condition that mirrored her mother's death, with a specificity that people have never been able to move past. 6 months later, on July 26, 2015, she died in hospice. The Fulton County Medical Examiner ruled her cause of death a combination of drowning and substance intoxication, with toxicology results revealing alcohol, a Coca-Cola-related substance, and sedative and anti-anxiety medications in her system. What the medical examiner's office could not determine was whether any of it was intentional or accidental, and that open conclusion has sat unresolved ever since. What sharpens the unease around her death is what Bobbi Kristina may have been carrying before it happened. Reports indicate she was present during some of the confrontations between Whitney and Davis in those final days, including the fight that occurred 2 days before Whitney died. And if that account holds, she absorbed information that was never intended for her. Whether she told her father what she heard, whether she confided in anyone, whether what she knew placed her in a position of danger, none of that has ever surfaced with any clarity. And the fact that her death arrived in nearly identical circumstances to her mother's is the kind of detail that refuses to stay quiet. Bobbi Brown has pointed at Nick Gordon repeatedly in interviews, stating flatly that Gordon knows what happened that night and that the situation carried layers most people never saw, with someone far more powerful operating behind the visible story. His words on Gordon: "He knows what happened. I don't know what happened that night, but he does." There are people who have argued for years that Gordon functioned as a scapegoat, and that whoever actually orchestrated both deaths has never been publicly named. According to insiders, Bobbi Brown may be the person who changes that. People close to Bobbi are now reporting something that feels different from his previous hints and emotional near disclosures. The word is that he has decided to clear his name completely, to put the unfiltered version of what Whitney told him on the record, and to name exactly who he believes was responsible for her decline and death, while he spent years absorbing the blame that others avoided. For decades, the bad boy image stuck to him, while the people operating at a higher level reportedly faced no scrutiny whatsoever, and Bobbi is said to be finished carrying that. Whether his account changes anything depends on what he actually reveals, and whether what he reveals can be verified. But the reality is that Bobbi Brown spent more time inside Whitney Houston's private world than almost anyone still living. And the specific person he was allegedly most afraid to name is no longer in a position to retaliate. These are the latest developments in the story involving Bobbi Brown, Clive Davis, and the unanswered questions surrounding Whitney Houston's death. And with Davis gone at 94, the weight of that silence has visibly shifted. Whether Bobbi Brown follows through, whether his account reshapes public understanding of what really happened, or whether forces nobody can see prevent it from getting out, none of that is settled yet. But the door on this story, which has been held shut for a very long time, looks more open right now than it ever has before. Drop your thoughts in the comments below about what you think Bobbi is going to say, and whether you believe the full truth about Whitney Houston will finally reach the surface.